sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Feast Magazine, Father Fiel Pareha mula sa Archdiocese ng San Fernando, Pampanga, at Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. Dito sa Kapet Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Are you feeling sore? We can make that better. Tune in to the Ateneo Senior High School's first radio program, SOAR, the Seniors On Air Radio. Don't change that channel yet, because SOAR is ready to put the you in you. SOAR, Seniors On Air, here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Socio-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Oh! Halikino! 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 Ready? 1, 2! Halikino! Kinikina! Halikino! Kinikina! Yebo! Yebo! Ateneo na! Halikino! Kinikina! Halikino! Kinikina! Yebo! Yebo! Ateneo na! Halikino! Halikino na! Halikino! Kinikina! Ra! 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 Halikino! Halikino na! Halikino! Kinikina! Ra! Ra! Ra!
Be inspired, be guided, be blessed. Campus Ministers On Air is up next on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo, 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 Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayon, tulong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan.
And there was another drive-by shooting today at Ateneo.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
A grace-filled Tuesday afternoon, friends. Welcome to Campus Ministers on Air, the radio program of the Office of Campus Ministry of the Ateneo de Manila University Higher Education, where we try to find God in anything and everything under the sun. I'm Mike Ramirez, one of your hosts here in Campus Ministers on Air, and you can join us every Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm currently handling the Seniors Integration Program of our graduating students. I hope everybody is feeling all right as we are starting to experience the tropical heat. And for this afternoon, I would like to greet my batchmates from the De La Salle Brothers of the Philippines. Hello, brothers! Shout out! And of course, at the same time, I want to shout out to my 23 batchmates in the preparatory stage of the Jesuit formation whom I journeyed with back in 2017. A lot of them are asking for shout out. I hope you are listening, guys, wherever you are. So, dear friends, while tuning into this episode, I hope this bell regularly reminds you to rehydrate yourself, drink your water, and protect your body from the scorching heat of the sun. That reminder is brought to you by Mike, your friendly on-campus spiritual companion. You can find me and the rest of the team at MVP 109 if you want to chill and talk to a campus minister about anything under the sun, or how our founder St. Ignatius de Loyola touched you in your life today. Don't touch that dial, do not scroll down yet, and please join me in another episode to make your afternoon special. So last week was a great episode with Miss Rina Simpas and Miss Michelle Severino of the Ignatian Spirituality Formation Office, talking about our mission to deepen and strengthen the Ignatian spirituality among the members of our Ateneo community. So, how are you out there, dear listeners and viewers, friends and partners in the ministry, fellow hosts and anchors here on radyo-katipunan? Kumusta kayong lahat? So, I hope everybody is having a great time wherever you are right now. And if you're feeling a little tired or bothered today, I hope this episode will get you going. And what is the best way to begin our program today than giving that space for pause, space for silence, and just continue to remember that we are loved despite everything. With our lights and shadows, we remain to be chosen. And God will continuously run after us. So let us remember that we are in God's holy loving presence as we make our sign of faith. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Wherever you go, I shall go. Wherever you live, so shall I live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God too.
Wherever you die, I shall die, and there will I be buried beside you. We will be together forever, and our love will be the gift of our lives.
shall I live? Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God too. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Saint Ignatius of Loyola, pray for us. Our sign of faith, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So, welcome back, dear listeners and viewers. We are now here live on Campus Ministers on Air, and I would like to throw these questions to all of you who are tuning into this program. Share with us your best meeting with a stranger, or what new interesting things have you learned during this encounter. Or probably, you can also interact with us by commenting to this live and answering this question. We would love to hear your sharing. Have you ever randomly met a stranger, and how did the conversation turn out to be exciting and life-giving for you? So you can follow us on Facebook. You can find using the handle at ls.ocm. We also have our Instagram account, Ateneo_OCM. We also have Twitter or X account, Ateneo_OCM. And if you have questions, suggestions, or any reflections that you have for this program, email us at campusministry.ls@ateneo.edu. All right, so for this afternoon, dear friends, we are being inspired by the Old Testament story from the book of Ruth. That's why I entitled this Far from the Familiar. All right, so we have a lot of letter F's there. Far from the familiar. All right, so stay with me, and we will remember that in that story, we can learn that the Israelite made provision for the poor all the time, especially the widow, the stranger, and the orphan, to gather what was left behind by the harvesters during the time of harvest, especially during the time of famine in the land, and instructed farmers not to cut to the edges of their fields for the sake of these marginalized people, and they call that gleaning. Okay, and there are actually three things that we can derive from the story of Ruth. First, kindness also to strangers and foreigners, greeting them and being received with courtesy, and blessing them just like in the Jewish custom and Christian way of living. So that's the first. We would remember the story of Ruth, right? So Ruth's husband died, and he opted to stay with Naomi, her mother-in-law. No, that kind of love to the mother-in-law, and eventually both of them came to a place which is not familiar for Ruth, and that's where she received kindness and generosity from people who are really stranger to her. And second thing that we can get from that story, by the way, you can search that, get your Bible from the book of Ruth. You can read the whole chapter, of course. Great love and affection develop naturally in the family, but it is greater when it develops among the people who are not related at all. So imagine that. And of course, third thing that we can pick up from this story, of course, the Lord accompanies His people in desolations and consolation. So that's the story of Ruth. That is going to be our inspiration for this afternoon sharing. That's why I invited two special guests for this afternoon, being inspired by this passage, which was also the inspiration of the song that we used during our opening prayer sung by Sister Bubbles. Shout out to the Sanacle Sisters and Father Tony De Castro from the Society of Jesus. And as we have invited the two guests for today, who will give us the opportunity to listen to their stories. You know, two souls who left the familiar and taken courage to put their trust in the Lord's providence, being in another country. So we have Sister Josette Khoury and Brother Nguyen. Dear friends, stay with us to discover the depth of their respective stories and how the Lord journeys with each of them. But let us put a little lightness in the manner. I would like to have them introduce themselves. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So, I'm Josette, and I'm from Lebanon, and I'm currently studying in ST1, first year theology.
So, first year theology. Of course, I would like to ask you about favorite food that you miss so much from your hometown. Describe this food to our listeners and viewer and how it is being prepared, like the ingredients, and after that, you can tell more about yourself.
Wow, starting with a very sensitive topic.
All right.
Yeah, actually, I miss all the food of my country. There were all the great Mediterranean flavors. Especially the olive oil, the mint, the lemon, the thyme, because they are all now basis of our Mediterranean cuisine.
Right.
So the dish that I miss the most is hummus. I don't know if you know
Can
it
you
already.
spell that for us?
Hummus. Hummus.
Hummus.
And it's chickpea puree, to which we add some garlic, salt, olive oil, and sesame cream. So yeah, so it's delicious. So yeah, there's always a little hummus now at the table, at the Lebanese table. So, and who says hummus says really Lebanon. So that's it. I'm Lebanese and I'm lay missionary, and yeah, and I like really every Lebanese. No, I'm very attached to my country, and to which I really owe a lot, because I have received all of what I received now from it. It's like from its culture, from its beauty, from its faith.
Right.
And I'm also Greek Catholic, so I'm not Roman Catholic. And
Greek Catholic.
Greek Catholic.
Greek
yeah.
Catholic. All right.
It's a different rite in the church, so it's. And as you know, Lebanon is a very small country, no? The border with Syria and Israel. So right now it's under the direct influence now of the war in Gaza. And but the Lebanese people really are very known for their courage and their cheerfulness, which give them really an incredible strength to resist and keep going forward. Right.
Perfect. Thank you for
So-
sharing that part, Sister Josette. Would you like to add more? Or later? Okay. Now, after introducing Sister Josette here, I would like to turn to our next guest, who is kind of famous. So I would like you to introduce yourself.
I'm Brother Dat from Vietnam, a first-year theology student in LST, a religious brother of the Order of the Pious Schools.
Also known as the PRists.
Piarist, yes.
PRists. All right. So currently also in first year.
Yeah, first year in theology. We are batchmate.
Ah, okay. So there are classes in which you are classmates.
Yes.
A lot.
A lot of classes that when we are together in a lot of fun and something that we can learn together.
Who is more talkative in class between the two of you?
I think both.
Both
of us.
Both of you. All right. So of course I'm also interested, because I'm pretty sure our listeners and viewers are actually curious about this. Would you like to share about your country, especially your culture's belief system?
Yeah.
And after that, reveal where you're from?
Yeah, sure. Our belief system is interesting because it is a mixture of different faith backgrounds. Unlike in the Philippines, we are highly of folk religiosity.
Folk religiosity. All
Folk
right.
religiosity. Yeah.
Perfect.
According to statistics released by the government committee for religious affairs as 2018, that Buddhists account for 14.9% of total population of the country. Catholics 7.4%.
Kind of low, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Protestant 1.1%, and other religions as well.
And then majority would be
Yeah, the
folk-
majority would be
the
focused
folk
on
religiosity.
Yes,
Okay.
but they are 73.2% the population are practicing it, practicing the faith that we are believing. Yes.
I met someone online and he mentioned about Kodaism. Is that part of the folk religiosity in
Yes.
Vietnam?
Yes, I think it takes like 1.5% of the population. It's quite famous as well.
Okay. So anything that I would like to ask you the same question that I asked Sister Josette a while ago, especially Vietnamese cuisine.
Yeah,
So what would be the food that you miss the most?
I think it's pho. Pho. Yeah, I think it's known here in the Philippines as well. Whenever I introduce myself that I am a Vietnamese, then people ask me, "Brother, do you know how to prepare pho? Because we like the taste. It's so special." And then I said, "Yes, why not?" And then just find a time when you are free and I can prepare that one for you to eat. And sometimes they invited me to go to Pho Hoa, one of the restaurants in the Philippines, and other.
I can see that in the malls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you tried already.
I
do
tried,
believe,
yes. The explosion
so
of
great.
taste.
Yes.
Yes. Only that?
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, I ask you the same question from Sister Josette's set of questions, but I would also like to ask you. So, primarily in Lebanon, what is the major religion or faith belief of Lebanese people?
Oh, Lebanon is really a very strange country.
Can you expound?
Very small, but we are 18 confessions living there. So you have Muslims, Christians, but you have also, for example, Maronites, Greek Catholic, Orthodox, Latin. You have also Armenian, so Orthodox Armenian, Greek Armenian. So it's a lot of... but it's a very beautiful mosaic because really we live together and we share the same reality, the same culture, and this is very helpful to live together.
The microphone was off a while ago, so maybe you can introduce yourselves again to our listeners and viewers. Say your name shortly and the country where you're from.
Well, my name is Josette,
Yes.
and I'm from Lebanon. And I'm lay missionary, and I'm living here in the Philippines, and I'm studying in LST, in first year theology.
All right. Josette, in that, we are here because of this woman named Ruth in the Bible, no?
Yeah.
So, especially traveling to a new, unfamiliar place, but was able to find God's providence from people that she encountered, especially Boaz. If we are going to listen to the genealogy of Jesus, you will find the name Boaz there, and that's where it is related because Boaz married Ruth, our champion in today's story. And I know our listeners and viewers who are currently living abroad can resonate with the stories that we are talking about this afternoon, especially those friends of ours. No, we can imagine them, the overseas Filipino workers tuning into this program. You can resonate with this, no? Especially those people who transferred home to a new house, no? Of course, you bought a new house, you have to transfer to a new place. It is requiring you a little adjustment and adaptation to this new life. Also, we can think of people who are living in the dorm, students' dorm life, especially they're away from what they consider as their true home, and especially people who are relocating for new work and new marriage and settling into a new conjugal home. So these are changes where you have to be uprooted from your familiar place, going to a new place. And I've mentioned it, no? It includes uprooting. You will leave the familiar, the home you have lived in almost every day of your life before. But here you are, finding yourselves in a new country. So, would you like to tell us, respectively, how long have you been living in the Philippines? Share to our listeners. Whoever is
Yes, sir.
moved by the Spirit.
Well, I arrived in the Philippines a year and a half ago. But I feel really like I have been here for 10 years.
Like 10 years.
Yeah. So much so that I feel really at ease and at home.
Can you say you're already settled in a way?
I'm still discovering, but I really feel that that I've been here for more than 10 years because it's so, the adaptation was very quick and very easy because you are really an extraordinary people.
I will ask this to that later, but how about the weather? We're talking about the weather, so the comparison of the weather
It's-
in Lebanon
I
and
like
the
it.
Philippines.
Well, I like it, even though I'm missing the snow. In this period in
The
Lebanon,
snow.
there's snow. But also I like a lot the sun, so I'm very happy.
That makes Filipinos happy people. Always
Yeah.
sunny every day.
Always sunny, shine.
Always sunny and shining every day, right? And now let's turn to you, that. So how long have you been living in the country?
Yeah, I have been living here almost 5 years. Yeah, it's a good number of years that I stay here, right, Sister Josette? And also, I'm happy with that I found one companion from another country to stay in the Philippines. Yeah, we love to stay here and enjoy this.
And meeting new people, especially
Yes.
Filipinos. Do
Of
you
course.
find Filipinos warm or kinda
Yeah.
snobbish?
Yes.
Ooh, very, very welcoming.
Very welcoming.
Yeah, very welcoming.
Very
and yes,
welcoming.
and friendly. I said, my first impression when I talked to my rector in the house said, Father, why there are many Filipinos are so friendly to me when they know that I am Vietnamese. I am a Vietnamese. And you're Vietnamese, can you speak Tagalog? I said, konti lang.
Oh, speaking of Tagalog, aside from konti lang, do you learn more Filipino words?
Of course, I have to
Brag
adapt
it.
something like when I go out, right, and like when I travel by jeepney, when I get to the destination that I want to, I said para po, and then that's it, para po, or maraming salamat po.
Oh, wow.
Bayat po.
How about you, Sister Josette?
Oh, I'm still very shy to talk Tagalog.
It's all right. So, I'm thinking of adaptations that help you ease into the new life here in the Philippines. So, what probably skill that help you ease into the culture, the society, the school, especially the community here in Ateneo. So, what adaptations help you, basically?
Actually, you Filipino people, you are very helpful.
Helpful.
Yeah, and really, I remember the day I arrived here in LST. The whole first month, I had really several people a day asking me if I was needing something, or really very thoughtfully if I was familiar with the place, and even in the jeepney or LRT or on the street, I never feel really lost because I feel at home everywhere, because everywhere there's always someone to help, or you are very delicate and attentive, no? And
Yes.
sometimes even before asking for help. So that's very beautiful.
That's
And also my classmates. Hi,
Shout out to your classmates.
Hi.
They are really such a precious help, no? Introducing me to the culture, to the way of eating, to yeah. So it's really very precious. So thank you so much. You are very kind people.
And that what would be helpful for you? Adaptations?
Adaptations. But allow me to share with you my first expectations and the impression.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting.
Before I go to my stories, right? So I should say something first so that you can see something changes in me.
True.
Yeah. Actually, I had a certain expectations about the country they call the Pearl of the Orient.
The Pearl of the Orient.
The Pearl of the
Yes.
Orient. Especially the capital city of Manila. Before I arrived here, and I was so interested in the weather. I mean, I was under the impression of the impression of that Pinoy experience, that 4 seasons of the weather
With snow and autumn.
yeah,
And okay.
winter, everything. It's very
I
nice.
love that.
So
This is
beautiful.
Mediterranean. This is Mediterranean.
Yes. So I was looking forward to experiencing these expectation that I met, right? I plan ahead, right? However, when I arrived, I realized that the summer season was extremely hot now, right now.
Yeah, you can feel that
Yeah,
now.
right now so hot. And to add to this, that's for several days that the traffic was so heavy, which made it difficult for me to navigate around the city, right? And then there were many times I prefer to get out of the car and I walk instead of stuck myself inside the traffic. Yeah, this is really hard, but I have to be patient. But Mike, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why do you call that Philippines is the Pearl of the Orient?
The Pearl of the Orient. Actually, when it was taught in history, I was absent. No, I'm kidding. But I guess it's about, the pearl. It's like finding a real treasure in the middle of the ocean. So
Yeah.
if you go to this part of the world, you can find really treasure because of the natural beauty in the Philippines. Of course, people, culture. So you can consider that as a pearl in the Orient. But it was made famous by the article written by our national hero Jose Rizal in his last write-up, I guess, entitled "Mi Ultimo Adios." Yeah, "Mi Ultimo Adios." Yeah, so my last farewell. So he mentioned the Philippines as the Pearl of the Orient. That's why it also became famous. There you go. So of course, I've heard that you've been here for 5 years and around almost 2 years, no?
Yeah,
And
1 year and
then,
a half.
You're talking about the weather. You're talking about the people. But of course, probably this live streaming may reach your respective hometown. So maybe you would like to shout out, greet people in your local language. So I'm gonna give you that opportunity to greet them. Probably, if you want,
To greet them.
to greet them in your local language.
مرحبا مشتقت لكم كتير.
Your family?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you repeat that? I want to capture it again.
مرحبا مشتقت لكم كتير.
Mm.
بحبك لبنان.
Wow! And of course, that.
Chào các bạn, mình đang ở Philippines. I'm reading them that hello, I am in the Philippines.
Okay. It's also interesting to hear people speak their local and mother tongue language. No, very good. Thank you for giving me that chance to listen to you this afternoon. But of course, being in a far country, let's say away from your home, is a desert experience. No? So we can parallel that in the current liturgical cycle of the church, which is Lent. No, so the desert experience, because it is Lenten season. Can we talk about our desert experience being far from home? Can you share with our listeners and viewers 1 or 2 major challenges you have overcome so far, and probably recognizing those challenges, what helped you, or in the first place, why are you persevering? Yes.
You start, I start.
Okay.
Well, actually, always arriving new in a new land, in a new continent is always a real challenge, تبع? But also, I think a real blessing. A challenge because it's always a new beginning, a new language, a new culture. We have to ask ourselves what are the things to respect in the culture of the country I'm in, which can be very different from the culture of my own country.
Right.
So we are always subject to a lot of cultural error on arriving, and it's a little bit funny. So the biggest challenge for me, I think, is to really let myself be shaped by this new culture, no, to become more and more interiorly Filipina, more and more interiorly Brazilian, or depends on the country where I am. And in this, children are really our great teachers. Mm. And so everything for us is to be discovered. No, it's so it's a profound experience, I would say, of poverty. No, because we discover ourselves that in the smallest and most concrete things, no, we are poor, and I need to learn like a child how to talk, no, in Tagalog, how to eat, how to live, how to cook, like the people to whom I have been sent. And for me, particularly, it's the first time that I'm living in an Asian country.
First time in Asian country.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
And it's an immense grace, really, to live this experience of poverty from within, because no, it enlarges my heart to become more and more welcoming, no, for a new culture, for a new way of approaching life. No.
True.
Yeah, because before leaving on a mission, you know, it's very easy to think that we are going to change the world. I'm going to help all the poor people. But when we got there, we quickly realized that actually, I quickly realized that I am the first poor. And that the people we thought we were going to help are the ones who help us and teach us from the very simple things, how to cook, how to speak, to the deepest things. Now I remember when I arrived to El Salvador, which is in Central America, our house there was really shaken by the death of our 90-year-old neighbor. No, he was killed by the Mareros. The Mareros, it's really a very sad reality in El Salvador. It's a mafia reality.
Mareros.
Yeah. So this young man had, he had been coming to our house since really he was child. So we know him very well. And he was killed the day after the birth of his first daughter. So, and I remember that for me it was really extremely hard to accept this reality of the Salvadorian people who cannot actually react to this kind of violence. So they have only to bear in silence and with a certain resignation, this cross of losing a member of their family being killed like this.
Yeah.
So because if actually this young man's mother reacts to the Mareros, she will lose her second son. So in a certain way, she doesn't have, another option.
Right.
So, and for me, it was a real challenge, to set aside my prejudices and my Lebanese way of doing things, to embrace and accept this reality, even though I know it's unjust of El Salvador. And leaving aside my Lebanese way of doing things, because actually we Lebanese are very expressive. And very reactive people. So who would actually, I don't know, in front of a young kid like this in our neighborhood, a revolution would start in the neighborhood. So for me, it was really a real challenge. But what helped me, to go back also to your question, what helped me to live this challenge was really the example of this mother who carried the cross with really such great faith and a real sense of sacrifice, to protect her other son, because she knew she couldn't do otherwise. So what helps me really in the challenges are really the poorest, who are really my masters. And so the greatest challenge, I would say, is to arrive in the new mission country, always leaving behind our prejudices, to be open to another way of doing things, which is really also an experience that enlarges the heart, and makes it more welcoming, at the same time. So it's a blessing at the same time.
All right. Thank you, sister. And of course, for those who have just tuned in, this is the Campus Ministers on Air, the radio program of the Office of Campus Ministry. And we have Josette, Khoury, and that Nguyen being our guests for today. So I will now move to that. So how about you? Any challenges you've overcome already so far after being here for 5 years?
Of course, I have a lot.
And probably what helped you, no?
Yeah, that's true. You know, first, when I first arrived in the Philippines, I experienced homesickness for
Mhm.
the first few months. As you know, this is the more normal for us, like me, as a foreigners in this country. So it was difficult to adjust with the life in this moment, and I miss my favorite food, my room, my friends, those people that I used to hang out with, including my family as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also the experience of the uncertainty about the unknown future.
Yeah.
It's really hard. This is also a big struggle for me. Then, despite relying on my capacities, my talents, I often forget about God's providence in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also acknowledge that I need accompaniment from the people that are really willingly help me in this journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of people who are
Yeah.
willing to help you in your journey here in the country. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you mentioned about your openness
Yeah.
for accompaniment, because it's not easy to recognize that, oh, I need help, I need accompaniment, and maybe I need like a spiritual director, or your rector might be helping you a lot in terms of your adaptation to the Philippines as well. All right. So what helped you, and why do you persevere?
Why do I
It's easy to quit, right? Like if
Yeah.
it's difficult, it's so hot in the Philippines, especially nowadays. It's
Yes.
easy to just drop everything and go home where it is more
Yes.
convenient.
and a lot of temptations outside world. I mean, outside of this seminarian life, I see many things that offers to me. Then you know what, the things that I value most is my openness to the new experience. That I try my best to be humble, and then so that I can learn and unlearn as well things that I have gone through before, so that I can receive the help and the grace of God at the moment, and through my self-examination and prayer, I'm seeking to understand the full significance of God's invitation in my life, even in every single day of my life. Yes, by being mindful of my decision, I hope to make the right choice, the sound like what is the best for me and for others and for God. I always bearing it in my mind, like as I embark on my faith journey, right? I understand it to be it's a long life process that I have to have the renewal and self-discernment daily. Something like that. Yeah.
So you heard him. He makes a good priest, probably. He can make a good priest. But of course, we are here this afternoon because of Ruth, no? And in the song that we played a while ago, we heard the lyrics, no? Wherever you go, I shall go. Wherever you live, so shall I live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. I would like to focus on that line. Your people will be my people. Of course, they are not my relatives. They are not my blood relatives, but I am going to consider them as my people as well. So we will also not skip the part talking about growth in spirituality. No?
Yes.
That's why also you're taking your subjects in the Loyola Schools of Theology. So how are these three things I mentioned a while ago parallel with your life now? So these three things about the invitation to be kind to strangers, and you being the recipient of that kindness, of that warmth. And second, the great love and affection which can develop naturally in the family, but can also be a greater one when it develops among the people who are not related with. And lastly, maybe we'll talk about that later, but these two first, no? So, Josette, you have more cultural exposure because of your missionary works. Please mention some stories when you receive kindness from strangers and foreigners, especially when you least expected it in any country you have visited.
Actually, in all the countries where I have lived, I can really bear daily witness to God's providence. No, and this is through always the concrete faces of the person that I was meeting, of my friends, and I have lived in very violent and very very poor neighborhoods, especially in El Salvador and Brazil, and yet it's in these same neighborhoods that I have really witnessed the most wonderful and real kindnesses. Like, for example, the neighbor, I know that she doesn't have the money to eat their fill a day, and yet she delicately brings us a plate of what she has cooked to let us taste the dish. And I know that, so it's very it was her way to show her gratitude for our friendship, and friends really whom I thought I would help myself when I went on mission. I realized that they themselves become my teachers, who really teach me what kindness and faith mean. And the first encounter that comes to my mind is here, actually in the Philippines, like around 1 month ago, in the place where I was living in Barangka.
Barangka. Shout out to the people in Barangka.
Hi.
They might be listening right now.
The children, maybe, yeah.
Barangka.
So the children from my street often came to play at my place. And they were really extraordinary, because they were my real enculturation teachers in everything. Because they only spoke to me in Tagalog. Only one girl in the group speaks like a broken English. And so it was perfect for me, because I was obliged to get out of myself and try to speak Tagalog. So, and once one of the boys, actually, who was used to come to see me, brought his friend, who was maybe like 11 years old, to introduce him to me, to his friend, that she doesn't speak yet very well Tagalog. And this new kid comes in and asks if I'm Spanish. He thought that I was Spanish. So I tell him I'm rather Lebanese. And it was very funny, because he stopped for like few seconds, trying to see where, in his map.
Yeah, trying to figure out where Lebanon is. Yes,
yeah.
in the map.
And suddenly, he says to me, I know your country is next to Gaza, and there is war there now, isn't there?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have to admit that I was impressed, because for an 11, 12 years old child,
Absolutely, yes.
to realize that Gaza and Lebanon are connected, and to realize that there's a war going on there.
The awareness.
Yeah, so is already a lot. And when I confirmed this, he just became very moved, almost with tears in his eyes, and said to me, you must be very worried about your family. And because I have seen that children are dying over there. So I promise you that I will be praying for your country, for your family, and for you. And I was really very moved by this encounter, because it was a day when I was particularly worried about the situation in my country. And this child didn't know that I was worried about. And I wasn't at all expecting God to send me consolation through the mouth of an 11-year-old
child. Yes.
So, and this is exactly what I was meaning. What I meant while I was saying before, that we think about giving, when we go to mission, but actually we receive much more. And when I thought that I was welcoming these children and spending a free moment with them, it was rather, they who welcomed me into their hearts, and prayers, and were a consolation to me.
Perfect. Very moving. Imagine that. Thank you for sharing that, sister.
With pleasure.
Very inspiring. 11-year-old. So we will move to that. So in your case, kindly tell the audience some stories about forming good relationships, even among strangers, and eventually treating them like your real family.
Yes. The way I approach people, like with a heart of a missionary, combines consolation and comfort. You know, I remember my first experience in the Philippines being sent to the mission last July. Then I stayed there in Zambales, Subic, one of the community there, ITAS community. I stay with the poor, very poor native people there in the mountainous area. You know what they eat every day? I observed there. I stayed there for 21 days. You know what I observed from them? Every morning, some guys climb up the trees to get the santon, the sour fruit with yellow peel, right? Santon. Yeah, I try it. It's a bit sour and the last taste a little sweet. I love it as well. But you know, it cannot be my main meal for a day.
Yes.
But I just realized that how come these people can sustain their life with this kind of fruit, and I just relying on the nature that is providing them something they can get to. And then they are so playful, they are so friendly, and at the same time, you know, they are planting like cassava, sayote, potato, kamatis, any root crops, and then so different kinds of fruits, right? But they cannot sell to others because they are far from the marketplace. So they just exchange things to each other.
Barter system.
Yeah. And then you know what? They learn that we stay there in their community for 21 days, and they were afraid that we will be hungry. But actually, we are using L300 every day to go to the market. It's a bit far, right?
Yes.
But you know, their wholeheartedness that really touched me. Like every morning after our prayer and mass there, and then you know, they gave us the cassava or some kinds of leaves that they planted in the house, and then said, "Brother, eat kain." But they don't know really. Many of them don't know how to speak English. But for some, only the volunteers there of the different groups, they
translate.
They translate. But you know, I experienced that one. They said kain. I don't understand. I mean, I know I understand kain. It's just eat. Then just give me the like manonggay leaves, like sayote, something like that, and then I received at one. But I said, how much do I need to pay you? Because I want to give them a little amount of money so they can buy food as well.
Yes.
Because instead of going to the market, right? So we can do something, exchange to each other. Then you know, I really realized that Wanda, in the midst of this kind of situation, right? And I really felt that God is present there. I mean, in the midst of the people that God does, this is my people that they are living in this simply life. And also you have also different call. And also I try to connect everything, like what Sister Josette also shared, that she is learning from the children around her and the people around her. And me too, I am adapting how to be simple and how to be poor like them. By material things and also spirit. I am something that the way I think of this life, so that I will detach from this world easily. And then back then, you know what, it's just something that is very coincident in this New Manila, right? And I met a family. She stays in Marikina, and she is a CEO of one of the tropical ops in the Philippines. And I didn't know that she's a CEO of that company. But you know, the way she relates to me, so gentle, so friendly, and everything that's welcoming me, accommodating, like a real family, and also like my mother, my second mother. I mean, biological mother. And she offers me many things and invites me. And also she said that she loves those people are going to become priests and sisters, nuns, and she's willing to help everyone. And also said she said, aside from the things that I give to your community, and also I will always remember you in my prayer, and also you just pray for us and visit us in the house when you are free. And then she just told me, your presence already a gift for us. Like they love to see seminarian in the house. And also, you know, she has a son. He's a seminarian as well, and he's my friend. Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's the way you're able to link with these new people, not your blood relative, but now you consider as your family.
Yes.
So the lady has been asking for prayers. Did you?
Yes, I pray immediately. You know what I learned from my brothers.
I'm kidding.
What-
Of course, I will trust you.
Sometimes I had a tendency to forget things that I promised. That's why I do it immediately or I take note. So in this case, I learned from one of my brothers in the community. Right, he said, whenever whoever asks you for a prayer, immediately you do it, so that you will not forget the person, especially mention the name,
The intention,
the
prayer
intention,
intention.
prayer, the
Yeah.
intention, and everything. I said, "Oh, it's a good idea, brother." And then I said, "Okay, I pray for you." And I said, "Please, Lord, just include this one in the prayer, and also remind me to pray for her and also for people around whenever they are in need." Yes, this is true.
If his superior is listening to this episode, he will easily get accepted and ordained.
You know, no. Actually, this is the way that we are doing in the community.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, trying to be better in each day. Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
And the last point that we have for today,
Yeah.
the Lord accompanies His people in desolations and consolations. You've mentioned a lot of things about desolations, each of you, and of course, how are you also being consoled? But I would like to ask you anything about this line, the Lord accompanying His people in desolations and consolation. Probably something that you've heard from your class, which is parallel or connected to this point, or any experience that you yourself experience when there's just an abundance of provision and grace coming from God into your life to the extent that it overflows and you share it with other people.
Mhm. Well, for me, I think the Lord accompanied His people is really the definition par excellence of the Christian life,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really its unique certitude, because which is, God's present now at our side, because God doesn't promise, His friends a calm and quiet life.
Mm-hmm.
No, without worries or problems, but His only promise and treasure that He gives us is really His presence, His companionship. No, that it's really our real treasure, and personally, it's this really this presence that is the treasure of my life. So
Mhm.
I'm very grateful, and because it's when you are confronted to a lot of suffering, that there is no solution to this suffering. I mean.
Like immediate solution.
Yeah. So I think it's His presence that helps us to bear difficulties, no? That helps us to admire the beauty that surrounds us, that helps us to keep a grateful heart,
Mm.
no? So to the link with the studies, recently, in our
No, make your professors
Yeah,
proud in LST. Go.
no, I think in our creation class we saw the profound unity, between theology and anthropology.
Mm-hmm.
So how always starting from our apostolates and our prayer, so that our theology is not reduced to ideas, about
Yeah,
God,
right.
but keeps us ever more one, unified. So yeah, God's company makes us more human.
Yes.
No, because it educates us to seek Him, to seek His presence and find Him in the faces of those who are who surrounds us.
Yes, yes.
To whom we are sent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Profound sharing, and of course you should also make your professors proud if you have sharing that you've learned something from the class or from your own experience.
Yeah, from my own experience about God, I think His love for me, that is the central part of my life, because I always cling on His love, because far from His love and the presence that I feel something like so dry that every day I wake up like I don't have hope, I don't have any plan for this day. And then also I try to figure out what is the meaning of my life as a seminarian if I don't have hope, if I don't bear this love, this divine love from God to others. Really, this is a question that I always ask myself and reflect on. Then, I try to start a day with a short prayer and with the gratitude to God. And also I'm trying to try to write down what I'm going to do for this day, and also to challenge myself that this day I have to do this one in order for the common good of others. At least if I cannot achieve this point, at least I try. And then aside from the studies that I have in the school, like Sister Josette, because we have the same professor, priest, Father Anel Aquino. This is our...
You shout out Father Anel
Yeah,
Aquino.
hi Father
Hi,
Anel.
Father
This very something that is realistic. It's not far from our idea. It's not far from the reality. It's within our life, our daily life. And then I try to reflect on it. And whenever he share, and whenever our students, like Sister Josette is one of the active students in the class.
Wow.
I said, wow, why those people have this idea about God and how they serve the people.
True.
Really, it helps me a lot in sustaining my vocation as well. That's why I cannot say something, I cannot explain something like them, but I prefer to stay backward, to listen to them and to reflect on it. This is my way, how I learn from people, and also how I adapt with these ideas and also God's presence in my life.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you have the idea, you have
Yeah.
the experience, you try to put it together
Unify.
closely, not far
yes.
from each other.
Yeah.
Thank you for your sharing. Time check. Actually, we are running out of time. We're moving towards the end of our episode for this afternoon. So thank you, Josette, and that.
Thank you
but
so
of
much.
course, I'm going to ask you the question that we usually throw to our guests every time. So simply, where did you find God today or this week? Maybe whoever is ready may begin.
Well, personally, it was last Saturday through the faces of the youth now at the college, where I was facilitating a sharing moment during the retreat. So it's always for me a very moving moment to witness really to God's action now in the hearts of the youth. So it was a real gift for me.
Third year.
Hi, if you are hearing.
Third year Ateneo students.
Yes.
With Sir Chaldo Santos, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you for that. So Ateneo students and their sharing while you were facilitating. Thank you for that, Josette, and that.
And yesterday I had a chance to facilitate as well in the prayer section. Yeah, in the chapel there in the college.
College chapel.
Yeah, college chapel, right? And also listening to the sharing of these students that helped me to realize that the God presence in these people, and also they are. I think his message is reminding me something, and also ask me to reflect and to say, I'm not far from you. I am here with these people. Please, look at them, listen to them, and be with them. Something like that. It's so simple and so cute in the moment that I was with these students, and I really feel that His presence there, and everywhere, anytime.
Thank you. I hope you're
Thank you so
enjoying the
much.
show as well.
Yeah,
But
thank
of
you
course,
so much.
I'm gonna share as well. So
Yeah.
where did I find God this week? I found God, has been finding God in biking. So I would
Biking.
usually
Wow.
hit a lot of birds
Yeah.
with one stone when I bike. So from home going to work, and from work going somewhere else to buy something, and back home, because it will of course promote good health. It's
Yes,
the
this is
exercise
true.
part, and the manageability. I can leave the house whenever I want to, because I can calculate the time of the travel.
Yeah.
And then third, it's the convenience, and you're not going to spend any petroleum product or gas
Yes.
to run it. So it's
Wow.
Laudato Si as well.
Laudato Si as well.
Laudato Si University, right?
Friendly to the
Oo.
environment.
And yeah, so biking, I really
Yes.
find God in biking. So shout out also to those people who love to go to work biking. So stay safe whenever you bike on our busy road, which that discovered crowded and
Heavy
traffic.
traffic.
Heavy
Traffic.
Okay. So, would you like to add more, Josette, and that before we end this show this afternoon? But of course, I'm
Thank you
very,
so
very
much.
grateful for this opportunity that you've given
Yeah.
to the Filipino people,
Yes.
listening to your stories.
Thank you. I just would like to say that I'm very happy in the Philippines. I hope that I will stay forever here.
Yeah.
So I'm very
Okay.
happy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so blessed for this moment, and also I hope that you can learn something from our conversation. And
Yes.
and maraming salamat po.
Wow. He really wants to impress the Filipino people with his Tagalog. All right. So thank you, Dad. And thank you, Josette, for this afternoon's episode.
pleasure.
And of
Thank you,
course,
Mike.
dear listeners and viewers, continue to follow Radyo Katipunan on Facebook and watch our live streaming here on 87.9 FM. And of course, the Campus Ministers every Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's all for today. I would like to wish everyone a safe and healthy week. So goodbye and stay hydrated. It's summertime. Goodbye.
Bye.
And there was another drive-by shooting. The fire we reported at the fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
3 o'clock prayer. You died, Jesus, but the source of